Singapore and Hong Kong will launch a travel bubble on November 22nd. Daily flights between both cities will resume, and all forms of travel, including leisure, will be allowed. There will be one dedicated flight a day to each city. The Singapore Airlines or Cathay Pacific flights will carry a maximum of 200 passengers. From the 7th of December, there will be 2 flights a day. There will be no quarantine or stay-home notice on arrival. And here's how it will work. If you're traveling from Singapore to Hong Kong, first you'll need to book your ticket on a designated flight. 7 days before departure, you'll need to apply for approval with immigration authorities. Then take a pre-departure PCR test 72 hours before your flight. An arrival test in Hong Kong must be booked online. And once you touch down, a PCR test at the airport could mean a wait of up to 6 hours for the result. If you test negative, you'll be cleared to move around freely in Hong Kong. You'll have to get tested again 72 hours before leaving. But if your last test still falls within this time frame, then you can use that result. To re-enter Singapore, you must submit your SG arrival card beforehand. You won't have to take another test when you get here, and neither will Hong Kong visitors. Foreign travellers from Hong Kong must, however, apply for a Singapore Air Travel Pass. They'll also have to download the Trace Together contact tracing app and use it throughout their stay.
This road outside of a Changi Airport departure hall used to see a constant stream of travellers dropping off to go inside to catch their flights. And right now it's a much quieter shadow of its former self. And that's why Transport Minister Ong Ye Kung hailed this air travel bubble arrangement as a significant step, because it extends a lifeline not just to the aviation hubs of Singapore and Hong Kong, but also to their respective flag carrier airlines. Mr. Ong says many countries contemplating opening their borders are watching this air travel bubble very closely to see what the results are.
We are quite determined to work hard and make sure that this succeeds, and then it becomes a good reference point. My hope, this is not revealing anything new, any news, but it is my hope that when we are successful with this air travel bubble, hopefully we can trilateralize it, add another member, and maybe quadrilateralize it beyond that. So I think that is then a meaningful bubble.
A segment of Singapore residents hit hardest by the pandemic, however, are excluded from travelling from Singapore to Hong Kong under the ATB. These include work permit and S-Pass holders in the construction, marine shipyard and process sectors. Mr. Ong explains this request was made by Hong Kong authorities because of the high number of COVID-19 cases in foreign worker dormitories earlier this year.
They are worried when we started talking about this, so I think it's the assurance that they needed. But having said that, since the last week of September, the dormitory cases in Singapore has really come down to a very small trickle, and you are seeing 0, 1, 2 cases a day, and many are in fact old cases, up to all the way now in November. But having agreed with this arrangement with Hong Kong, we are starting off not including this group first, but I certainly hope that in our next review we can be more inclusive and include everybody.
Mr. Ong also has a message for those in Hong Kong thinking about flying to Singapore.
希望新加坡會睇到多啲香港人嚟到呢度，我哋一言為定，到時見。